Well, hello there, Kim. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today. I am so excited to have you here, and I know we're going to have an enjoyable time, not only the nuggets you're going to drop, but just, talking to entrepreneurs and business owners about what they can do to elevate their business. So before we get into it, I want to introduce people to you. For those of you who do not know Kim Walsh Phillips, perhaps you've been living on a rock. Just kidding. But let me take the time to introduce you to Kim. Kim is the founder. She's a powerhouse, ladies and gentlemen. She is the founder and CEO of Powerful Professionals, which is a business coaching and education company. Get this, she went from 32 clients to 11,000 in less than a year. We want to know what that secret is, Kim. So, and that has made it one of the fastest growing companies in America, in the United States of America. And she was recently named the number 475th in the Inc. 5,000. So congrats on all those accolades, Chris. But
Thank
not
you.
only that, Kim has had some must-read business books by Forbes magazine, and they include best-selling books like The Shift that you've just released this year, How to Scale Your Business and Multiply Your Wealth Without Sacrificing You. You've also released The Ultimate Guide to Instagram for Business and the No BS Guide to Direct Response Social Media Marketing, which you co-authored with Dan Kennedy. Kim also co-hosts one of the top running business podcasts with American Idol Season 1 alumni and 20-year entertainment veteran Justin Guarini, and has been featured in Bravo Below the Deck. She is the behind the scenes secret weapon for some of the biggest names that you know in business, including Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, Dan Kennedy, the Profit First author Mark Michalowicz, I just butchered his name, Harley Davidson, Hilton Hotels, and High Point University. Kim has spoken on many stages around the world, including Dubai, Moscow, London, and all across the United States. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have a powerhouse with us today. So
Thank
to
you
get
so much
those,
for having me. I mean, you're
oh,
a powerhouse too, Dorothy. I'm so glad I'm here with you.
thank you so much. That's so kind of you. So, Kim, let's just get started. Tell me a little bit of your backstory and how you got into digital marketing and business coaching. You can start wherever you want to start.
Yeah, my background is really in the public relations space. I started by doing PR for celebrities, putting on events for them, and working in the political space. And eventually, I really wanted something that I could start showing them the ROI because the stuff work I was doing was kind of considered the fluff work, right? The stuff that would be first to cut in the budget. Because what I was doing was creating brand, I wasn't creating an outcome for revenue generation. And I struggled as a business. And eventually I discovered Dan Kennedy's book, The No BS Guide to Direct Response Marketing. And I was hooked because for the first time ever, I saw how I could use marketing to impact a business, how it can generate direct sales and leads for our company. And I'm bringing my puppy with me right now because she's going to start barking.
Daisy.
Hey, Daisy, you say hi to everybody. So that's how that piece got started. But his book talked about that you shouldn't use social media. It like spoke very badly about social. And
Mhm.
so I started taking his strategies though and applying it to social media, and it started to work. And eventually I met him, showed him what I did, and he became a client. And that's how I started getting some celebrity clients to do direct response social media marketing because the work that I do produced direct results. And I got him as a client, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, and we were rocking and rolling so much so that I was eventually able to sell my first company, my digital marketing agency, Elite Digital Group. And then I started my coaching business, Powerful Professionals Business Coaching, to show other people how we did what we did.
Wow, that's such a great story, which is a great segue into my next question, Kim. So you talk about your digital elite. So where you had 32 clients, and then in 1 year you transitioned from 32 clients to 11,000. So I want to know, how did you accomplish this? And what are some of those challenges you faced with such a rapid growth? Because that was a huge growth.
We really struggled in the agency because the only way we got paid by clients was to do individual service for them. And at the end of the day, we only have so many hours in the day. And so I
Mm-hmm.
knew when I started my next business, we were only going to do things that were scalable. So I took the things that were working best for our clients and turned them into a system that we could teach
Mm-hmm.
in a course and a group coaching program. And I had the beautiful blessing and opportunity of having worked with some of the biggest names in course creators and group coaching. So I already got to see from behind the scenes of my clients what worked and what didn't. And so we did not struggle in our new company. We took the best in business practices and we implemented them right away. I think the one thing we did struggle with, as I probably over delivered in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
didn't charge enough as so many people did, because I showed up kind of with that imposter syndrome that I hadn't run a coaching business yet, even though I had run a successful company. But within a couple years, we increased our prices. We really were able to scale our systems, and I more than tripled the revenue I ever generated in the agency and the new company right away.
Wow, that is amazing. And one thing I think I failed to tell my listeners and those who were watching the interview is that Kim is actually my coach. So I was one of your first cohort in that course, which
Well, and
got
you're
me.
so great that we bring you in as a coach in our program too.
Thank you so much. Well, no, look at that. So I feel so honored. But Kim, so you've talked about really tripling. So you and powerful professionals have had such let's say it, phenomenal success in such a
Mhm.
short period, right?
Yeah.
That's not something that a lot of us will say, or those listening. So I want to know, what is that key ingredient that to your success that a lot of entrepreneurs now have overlooked? What it is that you can pinpoint that has created that success.
It's really looking at what is the top 20% of the things that I do in a day that are bringing me the most profit and I find the most enjoyable. Because I believe that we're given our likes, interests, and passions not by accident, but those are our God given superpowers. And when we can spend more time doing those things and we find other people who actually have their passions, the things we don't like doing, that's how we can scale. So it's finding those things that you do the best and you enjoy doing to focus your time on, outsourcing other things, and then taking anything you can and either automating it, delegating it, or eliminating it. And when we do that, we can actually create systems and processes in place that we can turn stuff we were doing one-on-one for clients into scalable group programs.
Well, thank you so much for saying that, because it's something that we see all the time. And when you talk automation, you're talking my language, right? Is that so many business owners are struggling to do things that they're not good at, they
Mhm.
shouldn't be doing, and they don't realize that we're either going to pay in time or in money. So we
Yeah.
have to decide which we want to pay in. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Eliminate, automate, or delegate. There you have it. The three ATs, ATEs. Eliminate,
Yeah,
automate, delegate.
that's
All
it.
right. So with that, with all of that, can you talk about a breakthrough moment that you've had with either one of your coaching clients or one of your high level private clients that has made a significant difference, not only to them, but also to you, that they said, this is my God given work?
I mean, there's so many beautiful, amazing moments, but I'll just do one of the most recent ones. We had just run a 1 day virtual event all about launching your course. And I was in the help desk, which is basically like a private Zoom room where people could come to ask me questions after the event of whether or not they should sign up for the offer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to a gentleman who is a hospital chaplain, and he has spent his whole life servicing other people, and he believed that he was supposed to help people around grief, and that was the thing he was supposed to coach on. And as I was talking to him, I just got this beautiful vision of him of what he should be doing instead, and I got to
Mm-hmm.
speak that over him, that he should be actually helping people speak powerfully. That was what he was being called to do, and he should get paid really well for it. He could keep doing his work around grief in a nonprofit chaplain way, but there was this business waiting for him that he could actually prosper in. And getting the opportunity to unlock what's possible for someone and then seeing that light bulb moment for him, I was just confirming what he had already been thinking, which I didn't know until I shared that with him. and getting to see that fire light in his soul. And then he's going to go after this now. I'm grateful that he ended up joining our coaching. I'm going to be able to help him do this. But the thing that's beautiful about my job is even if he hadn't joined, I would have been grateful and fulfilled that I had the opportunity to do that. And so the work that I do, I mean, like I could cry even now thinking about it. The work that I do, yes, it makes me money. Yes, I'm able to take care of my team, but I get to impact lives every single freaking day. And I cannot imagine anything better as a job or career that I get to just serve people in a meaningful way, have one heck of a good time, and make money doing this as my living. It's unbelievable.
Wow, it is unbelievable.
Ah,
It is a bonus, isn't it?
yeah, it is a
It is
bonus.
a
I always say, like, when you show up in service, the money just always seems to take care of itself. And yes, we need brilliant marketing strategies. We need to be savvy with our sales. But when we show up in service, it works. And I don't know. There's so much in my career that doesn't like the how did the T's get crossed, the I's get dotted? How did it all add up to what it did? And that's because it's not just me. I believe
Mhm.
I'm following a path that was given to me by my creator. And when I do that, the most amazing things happen.
We know that. I've experienced that, Kim. I've seen so many of the other coaches in the program experience it, and it really is a special moment when you see their
Yeah.
eyes light up and it goes off, and you see the transformation beginning to happen right away in front of your eyes. That shift that's taking place, and it really is a beautiful thing. So thank you for your magic. We can only call it magic because this is like you talk about being here on purpose with a purpose. And this, we
Mhm.
know it's your superpower and what you do. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, digital is shifting so quickly. Now we're into generative AI. We're doing so many things.
Mhm.
I know coaches, consultant, business owners, they are finding it difficult to take a breath to keep up. So here's what I would like to ask you, Kim. Given the trends that we're seeing right now, what should business owners and entrepreneurs be most mindful of right now in this moment, in this fast evolving digital landscape?
I think they can start with saying they don't have to keep up. So
Ah,
stop worrying about keeping up. I
yes.
believe in real time learning instead. So, what does that mean? It means whatever I'm trying to accomplish right now, learn everything I can from best in class about that one thing. Don't overwhelm yourself thinking need to know everything about everything. What are you trying to do? You need to generate more leads? Then find a program all about generating leads. You need help with your offer? Find something around that. You don't need to know everything. For example, I am not on TikTok. I have not leveraged that as a resource. I know it's a great resource. I know there are people who utilize that resource really, really well. But for me, that's not my priority right now. Also, Instagram came out with threads. I quickly got a following on there just because of my Instagram following size. I have not posted since the second day the threads was on there. And my business continues to grow because they're not in my priority right now. I don't feel
Mhm.
pressure around that. I'm choosing. So I want folks to realize that really what you do next is always in your choice. And I want you to pick the thing that's going to give you the greatest amount of return in the shortest period of time every single time you pick a new initiative.
Well, that's a mic drop, Kim. That right there is gold. We tend to feel that we need to keep up with everything. And I just
Right.
love it that you have said we don't. You have shown that you're super successful and you haven't. And that does not mean, that doesn't preclude you from having success because you're not doing everything. As a matter of fact, I do believe it does dilute your what you ought to be working on and the time that you need to
Mhm.
focus on what you do best. So thank you
Yeah.
so much. Mic drop. But shifting gears a bit, Kim, and no pun intended here, you recently came up with your best-selling book, The Shift,
Mhm.
which actually addresses challenges that many entrepreneurs face. That is scaling your business without losing yourself in the process.
Mhm.
I'm curious, what was the catalyst for you to write a book like that?
Years ago, I was putting my daughters to bed and I just kind of called up to God and said, "Can you freeze time for a second? I don't want to miss them growing up." And I heard a whisper back that said, "I don't need to freeze time, Kim. You need to be more present." And it
Wow.
just hit me, and I knew that was right. And I started to change the way I did business. And that's really what created our automation and um, lead and sales system that allowed me to sell my first company. And because I got that freedom back, and now I have the freedom of time, I could be present for my kids. I get to take time doing things that I enjoy. I spend time with my friends. I vacation. These are all things I never did back then. And I
Mm.
have a much more successful company than I ever did when I was working around the clock. I knew as I was going through it that I wasn't just going through it for myself. I was going through it so I could help others do the same thing later. So that book is my passion. It is a storybook where I tell stories of how I made the transition. It's a workbook that it walks you through exercises you need to do, and it's a playbook that I give you a step by step on how to get it done.
Yeah, for sure it is. And if you've not picked up that book, it's called The Shift by the one and only Kim Walsh Phillips. So it's great. It's great. So staying on the book, The Shift, Kim, is there a particular story that you in the book or that you are now you think through that captures the essence of what you mean when you talk about scale without sacrificing yourself?
Yeah. So one time I created a webinar funnel that included a course that would help people generate more leads. And I created it into a webinar, which is a masterclass where you tell people about why they should get the program and you make an offer at the end. And I automated it so it was running without me. And I said yes to my best friend for the first time. I went away for her birthday. She does a beautiful trip every year. And I always said, no, I couldn't. I'm too busy. And I went on the trip and I flew business class to Italy to meet her for her 40th birthday. And while I was in the air going to fly to her, I generated more revenue than paid for the entire trip. And that's just representative of my new life. Like I can create things once and they work over and over again, impacting thousands of lives while I also get freedom to spend time with the people I love.
Wow, that's such a great reminder that it doesn't mean that, we need to work 15, 14, 15, 16-hour days in order to be successful. Here you are
Right.
on a plane, flying first class to Italy, to meet with your friend that you've always said no to while your business is still operating without you. Not
Yeah.
only is it operating, you're making money while you're
Mm.
in the air doing the things you love. And I find it to be ironic that as business owners and entrepreneurs, we get into this business because we want the freedom. And
Yeah.
then it ties us up. And very often I've seen where some people become resentful because why did
Mhm.
I get into this in the first place? I wanted the time and money freedom, but you're working so hard. And I think that's really the irony of it. But you're saying to me, and we know that the automation and doing all of these, the systems and the processes can do that for you, that you can actually have the life that you want, you crave, and you love without having to sacrifice everything else around you and hustling and grinding 14 to 16
Mm.
hours a day. So thank you for
Right.
sharing that. That's a beautiful
Mhm.
story. To thank you for that, Kim. So, a lot of entrepreneurs fear that in order to scale, they have to give up their personal lives. And you've just told us that you don't have to do that.
Right.
What are some of the strategies or even a mindset shift that you think that we need or entrepreneurs need to be mindful of in order to get to the place that you can say yes, you can fly first class, you can do the things that you're doing?
Yeah, anytime you're doing something, the question becomes, could I automate, delegate, or eliminate it, like we mentioned earlier? And so when it comes to a webinar, can I do it once and then record it and replay it? When it comes to teaching something, can I record myself and just share with people the recording? When it comes to coaching, could I do this in a group setting and allow myself to go from hours and hours of one-on-one to 1 hour a month? Question the how. Don't ever question the outcome. The outcome is what you always want, but is there a different way to get your people there so that you can multiply your time, which gives you a lot of freedom? And then, even if you don't have the ability to really automate it all yet, could you concentrate it? Could you do your coaching on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, then Thursdays and Fridays give you freedom? I rather do 3 10-hour days and then have the rest of my week open to either dream or work on new projects or give me location freedom. So start to rethink not when your brain thinks I can't, instead challenge it to say, how can I? And those are some of the ways that I would get it done.
Wow, that's great. So challenge your brain to think that you, not to say that you can't, but how can I?
Mhm.
And that
Yeah.
I think can be a game changer. How can I? Because so often a lot of us come across challenges that's not our wheelhouse and it
Mhm.
stops us in our track. But our
Yep. Oh, sorry for
mindsets,
my Daisy. Hold on.
no, no, all dogs are welcome on this interview. Daisy is welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, challenge your mindset, not that you can't, but how can I? Because everything is possible. So, with Kim back now, Kim, is there one thing that you'd want every entrepreneur, business owner, coach, consultant, service provider that's going to watch this interview, listening, what it is that you'd like them to walk away with? What's that one thing?
If it feels really hard, there's probably a different way to do it. I think oftentimes we just think about we need to work more and more and more, and that's not the answer at all. If you challenge yourself to say, how could I do less but achieve a bigger outcome? If I had to, if there was a gun to my head and I needed to generate $1 million in revenue and not work more hours, what would I have to do? That becomes the key question to ask in order to create scale. And once you do that, you can really give yourself the freedom to multiply your impact and your income in a meaningful way. It has to go beyond one-to-one. It has to go beyond individually generating leads. You need to find a way to scale your time and your expertise and your skill set, because once you do that, you can scale your business to whatever you want without having to work more hours.
Fantastic. There's a phrase that says trading dollars for hours, and that's not what we want. We want to
No.
be able to really leverage the time that we have
Mhm.
and do it in a way that's efficient and get us the results we want. Well, Kim, before we wrap up, this has been so awesome, so many nuggets, and I'm sure it's going to change lives. This interview will change the way we actually shift our mindset, the way we think about things. But I wanted to get to know you a little bit more, Kim. So
Great.
I've got this mystery game. It's going to be
Mhm.
revealed. It's called, and I'm sure you're familiar with it, it's a rapid fire question. So
Great.
I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and you're going to tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
Awesome.
No, I know you're not a big thinker. So let's go. Ready?
Yep.
Sweet, sweet or savory?
Sweet.
Ah, book or podcast?
Podcast.
Phone call or text message?
Phone call.
All right. City hustle or country calm?
City hustle, obviously.
All right. Workout. Is it cardio or weights?
Cardio. Well, I do both every day, but cardio.
All right. The last series you binge watched on Netflix or some other streaming
I'm
platform?
watching Billions and Suits right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Wine, red or white?
Red.
All right. All right. Your favorite season, is it spring, summer, winter, or fall?
Summer.
Summer, you're a girl of my own heart. I'm
Mhm.
just a summer person through and through. All right. Digital note taking or good old fashioned pen and paper?
Pen and paper.
All right. There you have it, ladies. The $1 billion close up, pen and paper. All right. Comedy or drama movies?
Comedy.
All right. This is a really tough one. Formal attire or casual wear?
A formal baby. All the way.
All the way. I'm with you. I thought about that. I was answering and say, yeah, I would be formal. Um, I'd be formal too. All right. Social relaxation or social gathering, or solo relaxation or solo gathering?
Social gathering.
All right. That's it, rapid fire. And thank you so
I love
much,
it.
Kim. But before we wrap right up, is there any last words you have for all our entrepreneurs or business consultants or coaches that are listening now? One thing that you'd say, listen, ladies, listen, gentlemen, listen to me. I've done it. I know. This is the one thing that I think you ought to either shift or do that you haven't yet spoken about.
Well, first of all, they need to listen to you, Dorothy, because you're a genius. And so that would be step number one. And step number two is to recognize that you were created on purpose with a purpose. You weren't made to suffer or to bang your head against the wall or to pay your dues. You were made to thrive. And if your daily doesn't feel that way, you're not broken. You just haven't found out the right way, and it's time.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me. And I told you, ladies and gentlemen, it will be Spitfire. We'd have nuggets, many might drop moments. There you have it. Thank you so much, Kim, for taking the time. I appreciate you so much for doing so.
Thanks for having me, Dorothy.